Alright, this is going to be a walkthrough of Activity 14-4, analyzing security settings current on the server versus a template that we might want to run to see the differences. And that's what we're about to do, is use a tool that will, in MMC, that will allow us to compare current settings with what we might like to roll out and see what the differences are. So, and again, they're not taking effect, it's just we're comparing our template that we've built to what's currently running on the server before we apply it. Just like we have the ability to test, the apparent rights of users to access to certain things, by setting their privileges in groups and then applying that user to those different groups to control access, and we can search, what their apparent rights are to a resource. And just like you've seen previously, we can check the basic, for DFS and things like that, what the apparent level of access is, given all of our changes, and seeing if there are problems. We can also do the same thing for templates. It's just kind of the same idea. It's just seeing a what if for the template, though. It's not searching in the active settings. So we're going to go ahead and run MMC. And we're going to go ahead and add a snap-in and this new tool, just like we used RSOP in our previous chapter. We're going to go ahead and select security configuration and analysis. We'll say OK, and this is our tool. So starting from number 2, we want to create a database. This is just me playing around with it earlier. And we're going to go and say security test. We're going to call our database that. And now this is the import template. So it's, as I said, not going to apply anything. It's just going to use this as the one that we would like to, and it's going to test that to what we currently have in the act of running GPOs and everything in our current security profile. Security policy, excuse me. So we're going to select a high security domain controller, so HiSecDC. Okay, it's imported that template, and now we're ready to go ahead and analyze. So we'll say analyze. We'll accept the default log, and it's run through the analysis, and it shows you just a still of that on right under number 6. And number 7, it wants us to look at our account policies and compare the password policies. And you should see something similar to this in the book, but it will be a little different, because the book is showing if we had not applied our changes from the previous exercise, whereas this shows 24 passwords remembered. The more passwords it remembers, that means the more unique the next password has to be. We're only telling the server in our current setting to remember 5 passwords. So a user can reuse a password the 6th time they reset the password. Whereas here we say 24, so it's going to remember a lot more passwords, so the user can't reuse any password in the last 23, 24 changes. So that's a pretty strict rule. And here, maximum password age, ours is 20 days. They're saying maximum 42. Minimum, we're saying allowed to go for 19. They're saying no more than 2. They're requiring 8 characters, whereas we're currently requiring 6. And we're both enabled, so we're good there. And really that's all it is. It's just a tool to compare what is for what we'd like and see where the changes are. And this really is kind of the end of this exercise. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and look at local policies. And we can see right away that this was based on our default, whereas this is the high security. We're not tracking near as much stuff in our auditing. User rights assignments, well, this is just user rights assignments. Nothing is set in here, so I guess it doesn't really matter, not defined. Whereas this is saying what group policy is currently active to set these things. Security options, allowing them to install or not install signatures, allowing them to install certificates from web servers and things, allowing them to turn on or not turn on like a USB drive, event log settings. So this is just to show, as I said, it's just a tool to analyze, what is in this column versus what we'd like to do in the future and see how they differ. This concludes our walkthrough of activity 14-4, analyzing security settings using security configuration and analysis.